All right, welcome everyone. This is James Pelton, and we have one last AMA for the day, and I'm very excited about this one. Again, I'm always excited when I start to see crypto and the real world starting to come together in any way, and we're going to talk a little bit about that here today. So what I need from you in the audience, I know it's been a long day. I know you guys are worn out. If you're in the US, you're just probably getting off work. If you're in the UK, you're just getting ready to go to bed. But I need you guys to hit the like button, okay? It takes just a little bit of energy to just move your mouse down a little bit, click like, and then if you have questions as we're going along, please bring up questions. If you want to direct the conversation in any particular direction, please do that. That would be great. So we have Thomas here now, so we got the whole crew.
Hi,
Good
James.
to see all of you.
How are you?
Yes, Thomas, I'm doing X. If Thomas, are you still there? Yeah, okay. Kind of coming in and out a little bit.
It's a little bit shaky.
Yeah. It's I'm seeing the shakiness as well. It's cutting in and out, I think, James.
Okay. Am I okay?
You were cutting in and out for a second, but you're okay now.
Okay. I switched down to 720p. Sometimes when you get this many people on, the 1080p can't quite handle it. So we'll go here. Do you guys want to go through and just do quick introductions, and then we'll jump into EstateX?
Yeah, sure. So right off the bat, we're very happy to be here. Blessed to meet you finally in person. It's funny. Like I've seen a few videos of you before, and now I'm in the live stream, which is quite an achievement on its own, I think. A little bit about myself. I'm Thomas. I'm the CEO and one of the co-founders of EstateX, together with my partner Bart. And now also Ronnie and Steve, who are now shareholders in the company and really our partners for the past year. I just want to say right off the bat, these guys, they have done an amazing job so far. Really, really taken EstateX from level 1 to level 10. They've provided so much value to the business, and we're happy to have these guys along. A little bit about myself. I've been active in the Web3 space since 2015. Really always had an interest in the market, always been intrigued by blockchain and crypto in general. Really sparking my interest in the industry. And I think it was late 2017, early 2018 when I made my first investment in cryptocurrencies. That really didn't turn out to go well because I invested at the top of the market. So kind of lost everything there. However, this didn't stop me from participating in the market because I've always had an interest. So hence a few years later, which is already a few years back, me and Bart, we founded EstateX, which is almost 3 years ago now. Really after discovering the inefficiencies in the real estate market and making the connection with blockchain and connecting it to the real estate industry. And that's how EstateX was born. So that's a quick intro about me. And then I'd like to give the word to my co-founder and partner, Bart.
Thank you. Yeah, so my name is Bart, the other co-founder of EstateX. And like Thomas said, we founded this over 3 years ago already. So it's been quite the ride since then, I have to say. A little bit about my background. I've been an entrepreneur, and I think now for almost 5 years. I started in e-commerce, so basically the sourcing of products, getting them in, shipping them in, private labeling, the running of web shops, etc., etc. And so that's how I rolled into entrepreneurship. And I just knew back then that this is what I wanted to do. My qualities were really, I could express my qualities in this field, and I just felt like this is it for me. And then me and Thomas are actually high school friends, so we know each other for a very, very long time. So that's also a cool story. And I remember us sitting us down like 3 years ago, and we were just discussing business idea, and the topic popped up that none of our friends could find like any proper housing to live in, because we have an enormous housing shortage in the Netherlands that also affects a lot of students. And if you cannot rent a home, let alone invest in a home, the credit checks that are required, some upfront capital, and also the enormous housing shortage also makes it difficult. And Thomas introduced me actually to crypto and to blockchain. I think it was in 2018. And I was just so fascinated by the technology behind it, just the idea and the purpose, what it was for. And yeah, we were just discussing the idea then in real estate, and we just made the connection with blockchain, and that actually made it possible that you could fractionalize real estate, put it on the blockchain, divide it into digital tokens, and that would open up the real estate market for everyone interested. And yeah, long story short, we started validating our concept. We started validating the plans. And yeah, actually, it has been quite an amazing journey since then. We've accelerated quite fast the past year and a half. And yeah, actually, the year and a half, it was just me and Thomas. And now with the partnership with GDA Capital, with the team of Beckford House, with Ronnie and Steve, our own core team and our advisors. It's over 40 people now working on this project. So yeah, it's heading in the right direction. And yeah, I think it was a little bit more than a year that we met Ronnie and Steve. And Ronnie and Steve really helped us a lot, and they are responsible for the acceleration of this project big time. So yeah, I wanted to give the word to Steve.
Hi, I'm Steve, co-founder of Beckford House, alongside my business partner, Ronnie. So basically, a little bit about myself. Fun fact, I was actually the first person to put a motion sensor inside an MP3 player back in 2003. 2004, this was before Steve Jobs made the iPod Nano. This was before any mobile phone or cell phones, as you call them, had any motion sensors inside. And it did really well. I did it I was about 21 years old at that time, back in 2004, showing my age. So I did that from the bedroom in my mum's house, did the manufacturing out in China, did the distribution myself, did the marketing, the sales, the distribution. We got into lots of big, small to medium retailers in the local press. And we probably about 3-4 days into one of the major trade shows like the CES of the UK, I got a call from my friend, and he says, like, have you seen Steve Jobs' presentation, his keynote? And I said, no. He said, it's on the news. He's launched something called the iPod Nano, and it has shake to shuffle technology. And it was like $20 cheaper than mine. And, it just blew me out of the water. All the retailers pulled their orders. But that gave me the confidence as, a young entrepreneur from Birmingham in the UK, that little old me monitored the market trends and saw where the market was going, and actually made a prototype, did the marketing, sales, and distribution, and 18 months of success, bigger and faster than the big boys. And it's one of the skill sets I've had and we've had is we're always good at monitoring the market trends and seeing where the trends and the patterns of the world are going, and actually bringing something to market before it actually launches. We were the first, myself and Ronnie were the first people to import IP cameras over into Europe. This was way before Ring became a thing. We basically designed a headphone brand. And again, we monitored the market trends. We knew in 2010 that fashion and tech would be merging together. And we created the world's first fashion headphones. The first tech company to partner with Swarovski, and we had the largest color range in the world. They were the first in-ear headphones in London Fashion Week. We sold them in 40 different countries worldwide. We're very big in America. We had a range for Groupon, and we're very proud to say we closed the second biggest deal in Groupon history, which was like a multi-million-dollar deal. And if you know Groupon, they never pay up front, and we got them to pay up front. We got endorsed by various celebrities, Sam Smith, Rita Ora, Ali Mers, to name a few, A-list football stars. We got into lots of the press, the newspapers. The reason why we're saying all of this is not to impress you, but to impress upon you the depth that we have of 20 years of entrepreneurship, the contacts that we have with A-list celebrities, press, media. We're going to be bringing all of this to EstateX and more. From the headphone brand, we had major success. We actually went over into the cosmetics market, and it's a bit different because headphones you have to buy. You only really own 1 or 2 pairs of headphones a year. Cosmetics you buy again and again. So we became experts with the headphones of getting new customers, but then we became experts in nurturing existing customers. And again, we won awards in the cosmetics market with our design and our innovation. And to cut a long story short, a lot of people came to us and said, well, wow, who does your branding? Who does your marketing? Who does your business development? Your strategy? And it's like, well, myself. Ronnie are our core team. And over the last 15 years, we grew a strong team of graphic designers, website developers, marketing specialists, business analysts, sales, distribution, all in-house. So we actually organically became a marketing firm. We actually, off the back of our own successes. So we've worked with sports teams in America. We've done branding for sports leagues. We've worked with universities in the UK, TeamSpeak, and lots of various, technology companies. We recently got into the crypto space probably about 2 years ago, where we were approached by Victoria VR, which was the world's first photorealistic metaverse. We did their branding, their websites, their giveaways, their pitch decks, their sales, and the KOLs. So we took them. We more or less did the marketing and business development from start to finish, and that's where we really cut our teeth in the crypto industry. We're very blessed to say that we've never had to market ourselves, never had to advertise ourselves. All of our businesses come from word of mouth, just like Thomas and Bart. They got recommended to us, and we don't really take on many projects like this and get involved like this. But one, Thomas and Bart are two great individuals. Two, they've been working on this for at least 2 years before we even started. They'd made the mistakes. They'd found all the licensing issues. They've got everything sorted, and literally what they thought would have taken 2 months took 2 years, which is amazing because they had all the foundations in place. And then, they had that great concept, and myself and Ronnie were just here to take it to the next level. So we're looking to, again, monitoring the market trends. Just like when we, were the first people to put a motion sensor inside an MP3 player, just when we spotted fashion and tech first, tokenized real estate is definitely going to be the future. In the next 5 to 10 years, this is the future. And we're here to kind of show you what we're about and obviously why we're unique. I won't hug it anymore. I'll pass the mic over to my business partner, Ronnie.
Thanks, Steve. I am Ronnie, the other half of, I'm co-founder of Beckford Huss. My roots really started within the property market back in central London, not in central London, the suburbs of London, focused on the residential market. I quickly moved from there to the central London commercial property market, where I was based in Mayfair, one of the most prestigious regions within the country. There I was working with various organisations, helping them to locate new offices, to rent new offices, to create new developments, and to buy new offices. Really was enjoying that until 9/11 happened. And at that point, the whole property market, especially in the capitals like London and New York, just completely bombed out. No one knew what they were doing or what was happening. So I took that opportunity to go and follow another one of my passions, and that was tech. So I went to university, did a degree in e-business. Then I did a master's in supply chain operations management. Following that, I worked with the University of Warwick, one of the most prestigious universities in the country. And this was on a knowledge transfer partnership, where I was the bridge between education and commerce. And within there, we was working within a business. We were pioneers of the SaaS revolution, software as a service. So delivering on-demand tools to people on a subscription basis. That did really well. We exited after a couple of years, and it was at that point that I met with Steve, and we just got on so well. We shared a vision, we shared a passion, we had that same work ethic, same drive, and it just made sense as we partnered together. And as Steve really told the story from there. So now, obviously, we've got the marketing firm. Most recently, the last couple of years, I've been spearheading a new division, BH Capital. So this is now focused on working with family offices, hedge funds, high net worth individuals, basically helping them source various types of commodities, digital assets, and off-market properties. So see, this is a fantastic network as well that we're able to plug into to support our activities as we bring EstateX to market.
100%. That's a really good point, and we can't say too much about it, and we'll go more into it a bit later. But we've already closed deals with major partnerships with major property brands that have nothing to do with the crypto market. So it's really refreshing, even at this early stage, that these massive companies are signing letters of intent and offering their property portfolios for us to tokenize on our DAO when we launch. So it's a very good start.
Okay, very exciting. Okay, so Thomas and Bart, are you both from the Netherlands then?
Yeah, so me and Bart, yeah, we used to go to the same high school actually. So we're high school friends. This was what was it like 7 years ago maybe that we started hanging out together, and then yeah, we always pitch business ideas of one another. And yeah, when I introduced Bart to crypto, it didn't really take long until we made the connection to connect the real estate industry to blockchain, and that's really when we started brainstorming. And yeah, that's how EstateX was born. And we went through all the hoops. We overcome all the hurdles. We've had all the setbacks to really be now in a position where we could launch the vision to the public. And we really hope it's a vision Bartaroni now share, and a lot of other people in the community as well. And we're gonna turn it into a reality.
Okay, very cool. Saturday, you have predictions for the U.S. Netherlands game?
Man, come on, it's not even a competition.
Yeah, you're probably right. You're
We're gonna
probably
take
right.
it right off the field.
It's going
Yeah.
to be an interesting one. You know what? We're actually flying out to see Bart and Thomas this Saturday, and it's actually my birthday weekend as well, so it should be pretty cool. And we actually had well, can't really say who, but we had something scheduled on the Saturday, and we had to move it just because we thought, wouldn't it be cool to actually be in the Netherlands watching the Netherlands play USA as well? So it'll be
awesome.
interesting. You know, like obviously you saw how England did well in our first game, and then we drew 1-1 against the USA. So the USA, you know what I mean, they're not a bad team, so it'll be interesting.
Yep, we'll see how it goes. So anyways, the audience I know is waiting. So I'm pretty familiar with the project. I looked through it quite a bit. You have a really nice pitch deck, which I have a few questions from that I want to ask about. But maybe you can give the audience, again, I think they're kind of wondering, what exactly is this? So can you give kind of an elevator pitch of, we understand that it's related to real estate. You could even get that from the name. But what exactly is it that you guys are doing?
So we have developed a real estate tokenization platform, and what we do is we digitize and we slice real estate assets and we store them on the blockchain. So really having digital ownership and fractional ownership of real physical assets in the real world. And what this allows for one is fractional ownership, so greatly reducing the entry barriers to entry into this vastly untouchable market for the majority of people. Like 95% of the people, they don't own their own home. It's either the bank's money or it's a rental home. So most people they can't enter the market because of the high entry barriers. So what we do with fractionalization, we lower the entry barriers from a couple €100,000 all the way down to €100, €100 or $100, practically the same at the moment. So that's one thing. So we're really making the market open and accessible to the majority of people. On the other hand, what this allows for flexibility and liquidity, because the ownership is stored into a digital token. It's now possible to very easily trade these tokens with other investors on the platform. So previously in the traditional market, it's not possible to either sell a fraction of your portfolio or a fraction of your house. You would just need to find one buyer and then sell the entire thing. This process will takes months, no, even not years, if you're in a bad market, really. So really, what we're trying to put forward here is a platform where everybody is able to compose the portfolio they want to compose themselves. So they're their own boss. They have their own flexibility in which properties they want to invest in. And if they want to cash out, they can just sell their shares and just be done with it. That's a short summary of it. And then we've thought a little bit further, and we've implemented a few other key features of the platform. So one of them is EstateX Pay, which we're going to be touching upon later. But this really allows for, if we can liquefy real estate up to a certain extent. It's also good to note that we're working with a two-token system, but we'll get into that in a bit. What we are trying to do, next to all the fractionalization and the liquidity and the flexibility, etc., also working towards a solution where you can actually pay with your real estate. And this is something truly revolutionary, as nobody's ever done this in the world and nobody is doing it at the moment. So what we're trying to do, because you have digital real estate, we're working with another token that is outside of the ecosystem, where you can eventually actually make payments with via a DeFi off-ramp in the real world. What this means effectively, you can, let's say you own €1,000 or $1,000 in tokenized real estate on the platform. with our physical or digital payment cards later, you can spend your tokenized real estate at the supermarket, for example. So on the one hand, you have a tokenized real estate on the platform that's backed against real world revenue producing assets. And you can even spend it in the supermarket via a little detour, which is truly unheard of and in our eyes really revolutionary. So that's one component we've added to the platform. Another component is the instant loan feature. The instant loan feature consists of currently in the traditional markets, credit checks. There's really a lot of hoops you need to jump through in order to really get a loan from the bank or really get funding from anything else. You either need to have a good income, you need to have a lot of money, or you need to be put up like a lot of collateral in order to take out a loan somewhere at most banks. So what we're willing to do is, if you have tokenized real estate on the platform, you can instantly loan against it up to 70% of the value. So let's say you have 10 grand of tokenized real estate on the platform. What you're able to do without any credit checks, without any hassle, without jumping through any hoops, you can just take out a loan for 70% of this value, either invested in real estate or just take it out and just get on with your life and really get an extra passive income. This among a few other things that I just briefly touched upon. So we're just going to go into a little bit more detail, but this is really the main stretch of the business at the moment, and we're building it out as we go.
Okay, awesome. Yeah, sorry if I come in and out a little bit. I think I'm trying to kick my kids off video games or whatever they're doing. It hurts the internet. You guys know how it goes. We have a ton of questions from the audience, so I'm going to try. They're obviously very interested because there's a ton flowing in. So I'll get through as many of these as I can. Let's start with so how you've been going for a couple of years already. Is that correct? Do you want to talk kind of about how the experience has gone for the last couple of years, and how is the fluctuation in the crypto market? How has that affected things? And just kind of talk about your journey up to this point.
Yeah, sure. So basically, when me and Thomas started, it's a funny story. We actually thought that it would only take 2 months. We were just we linked it to blockchain. We thought, okay, you can open up the real estate market. We started diving into it. We started writing some papers down, and we actually thought that we only needed a couple of things. We needed a platform. We needed a little bit of cash, and basically a property portfolio to tokenize the properties and to offer it to the investors. We thought that's basically it, and then we can get started and kick it off. And then as we started speaking to industry experts, real estate entrepreneurs, people in the tokenization industry, legal advisors, lawyers, we found out actually that it's a lot harder than that. And basically, me and Thomas, we never gave up because we saw the potential in this idea and really wanted to execute it. So we just basically started writing everything down, what we needed, started executing on that, surrounding ourselves with industry experts, validating the concepts, and we discovered all the legalities needed, the licensing needed, the security regulations, etc., etc. And then basically, we just started developing, and we started to put in component on component, and we just started building. And like I said in the beginning, like a year and a half ago, it was just basically me and Thomas still validating the concepts, and then we made the ecosystem. We added the ESX token. We came up with the EstateX Pay solution where you can pay with your real estate investments, and we just started building out this ecosystem. And then basically we started the pre-sale, and that was actually right when we met Ronnie and Steve. And then we already had some advisors on board and some extra team members that helped us out. And basically, when we met Ronnie and Steve, we rebranded the whole thing. They came in, they delivered a lot of value. So they delivered a lot of team, graphic designers, project managers. They worked on the business development part. And that was actually when we started the pre-sale, started advertising, started the marketing. And fast forward a year, that's where we're at now. We have over 12,000 registered accounts, over 13,000 community members. We've raised $1 million in just a couple of minutes because our rounds were sold out so quickly. We have a massive partnership with GDA Capital, $1 billion plus investment firms who support us in a lot of areas. They have a lot of great contacts that we can use, and that helps accelerate the project. And yeah, that's where we're at now. So it's looking very exciting.
Okay, awesome. Hey, and Steve, I think you're on mute. If you had something you wanted to add, there you go.
Okay, can you hear me now?
Yes.
All right, excellent. Yeah, just to add to that as well, we're just so proud of the community that we have. We look at other projects in the crypto space, and a lot of people are looking to move quickly or looking for that, that get rich quick scheme. And even though we do have great short-term ROI capabilities, a lot of people see EstateX for the medium term, the long term, the foundation that the guys have done. And going back to when we met and we actually, rebranded and took the company to the next level, we were sitting there quite nervous for that first pre-sale, and obviously we opened the round, and then it kind of like, it just came in and it almost like froze, and we thought like there was a break or glitch in the system, and we literally sold out within like 2.5 minutes, and we're like, what? We actually thought like the system was broken. For there's no way. We're like making our predictions like maybe it'd be 24 hours, maybe 2 days, maybe 2 hours. It was actually 2 minutes. And then the next round that came, and we actually had to raise double the amount, and we thought it would be okay, then it's going to be maybe like an hour or something. We're getting a bit cocky at this stage, thinking it's going to be like an hour at least. It was like less. It was like 1.5 minutes. It was like just under 2 minutes. So it was crazy. The feedback has been absolutely phenomenal from the general public. The feedback has been absolutely phenomenal from industry professionals. And the great thing is about our project is everything that we're planning to do, we have the team and the depth and the abilities to do that, to actually take this to market. One of the differences between us and the usual crypto projects is we're not actually, you mentioned before about how we fluctuate the crypto market. Once we launch, we're not actually dependent on the crypto market. We're dependent on the property markets, real estate. When somebody purchases EstateX, the tokens after launch, it's actually going to be back to real life assets. So unlike obviously a lot of people that's going to be fluctuating with Bitcoin, we're not. That's obviously a really, really big selling point of what we're doing. The community are obviously extremely wise, very phenomenal, and just the family atmosphere that we built is phenomenal. We want to reward the communities in as much as we can. So we have referral schemes, we have NFTs, we have utilities, and the way that the community has just got behind certain things has been great. So that's really been a really big part of the community and the journey, seeing the community grow.
Okay, very good. No, and then we had some people asking, what type of properties are you looking at? Commercial or single family or a mixture?
Right.
Yeah, we're going to be bringing to the ecosystem a range of different properties. What we were initially looking to do with our plans was we were going to be purchasing the properties ourselves to bring into the ecosystem. That meant obviously that we would have needed to have raised a lot more, and it would have taken us a lot longer for us to be able to scale and grow and to add those properties into the ecosystem. Following a lot of discussions that we've been having and people who are interested in working with us, we're taking a bit of a pivot and focusing now on working with people who already have property portfolios. So these are property portfolio owners either with single property, be it residential, be it commercial, be it warehousing and industrial, that they're then able to tokenize and bring into the ecosystem so that our community can then potentially buy shares of these assets ultimately in real estate that's going to be generating them a passive income. Again, one of the key things is you're going to have the ability, we're going to bring on that wide spectrum of properties, so investors are going to be able to choose where they invest their money in different regions and different areas, so they can have a different risk profile, with some areas where it's more likely to increase in value higher and get much higher rents, where others it would be obviously a much more steady investment.
Yeah, and that's really like the beauty of the project. Like a lot of people think that they're just going to get thrown an investment and they don't have a choice, but everybody has a choice. It's going to be as simple as swiping through Tinder or an Amazon profile, click, 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 and you can have, a property development in Texas. You could have like a school complex in London. You could have a high-rise, sky-rise in Tokyo, and you could actually diversify your portfolio. And you could have like $100 here, $1,000 there. So you really have full control, and you've got your own property ecosystem in the palm of your hand. And as the guys were saying earlier, it's truly revolutionary, especially nowadays where the world is obviously in a certain kind of financial crisis, the cost of living crisis, everything's going through the roof, inflation, interest rates. It's a lot harder to actually go into the property ladder at the moment. And, you know, a lot of people, it's not like our parents' age where, you know, they could buy a property for 50 grand and then 10 years later it's worth $500,000. Now, obviously, you have to have a great credit rating, you have to have a certain amount of capital. And a lot of people don't have that credit rating. A lot of people don't have that massive capital to get onto the property ladder and own their own home. With EstateX, we provide that solution to break down those barriers, and you can actually buy real estate that's affordable for anybody, anywhere. So for as little as $100, even if you don't have a credit rating, you can actually still get onto the property ladder and start your property journey.
Okay, no, very good. I think that's really helpful. And so how would this compare to like a REIT? What differentiates this from a REIT? And actually, I'm going to bring up your pitch decks because you talk about that in there. But do one of you want to talk about how this might differ from a REIT?
Yeah, absolutely. No, it's a very good question, and one that's yeah, it's an obvious comparison to make it initially. If you want to be able to, I can start talking. So one of the key things that we've got within EstateX is that the investor is empowered to choose where they invest their money. With a REIT, typically you're giving a fund manager your money for them to be able to invest where they want to invest. You don't have much control, you don't have much choice in that decision at all. There's typically a relatively high minimum entry point, unlike obviously say it might be like 5,000, 10,000 in order to get into the REIT. Whereas with EstateX, you're looking at literally $100, €100 to get in. We're empowering the investor as well with the information for them to create their own portfolio. They just can see the return that they're likely to get, the potential growth of the property, and they can then choose whether they want to invest their money and where they want to do it. And again, whether they want to focus on more green and environmentally friendly portfolio rather than more of an industrial one. So again, it's giving that individual that complete transparency to be able to do it. There's instant, again, you're able with a REIT, typically if you want to take out your money, there's likely to be penalty charges if you take it out too early. With EstateX, obviously when you have the property, you're able to sell that as and when you want to. You can also leverage your portfolio for additional finance, which is not necessarily something you can do with your REIT portfolio. Something really cool as well that we're able to offer is daily rent payments. So in a REIT, again, you may be getting your returns quarterly, half annually, and sometimes even yearly. With EstateX, what we're able to do, because of the ESX tokens, you're able then to, what we're doing is we're receiving the rent in fiat at the end of the month or at the end of the rental period. And we then use that fiat to buy ESX off the market, which we will then pay to the asset holders who own those fragments the rent on a daily basis. So again, as soon as you purchase you invest in your estates and your what we call the PropX token, which represents your ownership of the property, you're earning passive income from day one, and that will be received in ESX tokens.
Okay, I like this comparison too. I like how it compares direct property investment too, because I think sometimes people, you know, oh, I want to be a real estate mogul, and then when they start getting into it, they realize, oh, actually, it's not as much fun as I thought it was going to be. And so I like some of the comparisons here. Some of the things that I've run into, I have some ways that, and yeah, work smart. In, like you said, you can get in for a lot cheaper. Liquidity, that's a huge one. If you're getting into, you know, your money, if you get in, buy your own property is going to be locked up for a while at least. And so this is something where you can, hey, I still have exposure to real estate, but have the liquidity of crypto. And so I really, really like that. And then could you talk about, people are asking about ROI and what kind of returns they could expect. So I just wanted to pull up, like, how does it compare? So like Fundrise, you know, is a popular here in the States. I don't know if you guys in the UK or in Europe do Fundrise, but it's a real estate. It's basically a REIT for all intents and purposes. And like it's getting 5.4% this year. whereas like the US public REITs are negative 28% this year. What kind of returns would you guys say, or is it going to be comparable to that, or how would people think through that?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, one of the things that we're able to do, again, because of our strategy with um, existing property portfolio owners, we're able to scale very quickly and globally across a wide range of places. This means obviously it's going to be a whole of, yeah, the opportunity for someone. You can invest in a high growth area, say in Vietnam, where you're going to get great returns, and obviously all the investment you put in is going to be quite low, but the rent that you're going to get is going to get quite high. So again, the investor is going to have that opportunity to create their own portfolio with their own APY, but it's also not just about what those annual returns are, it's about what the asset appreciation value will be. Because something may not have the greatest APY, but if that is going to increase in value by 200% in the next 2 years, it's a good investment. So again, the investors will have that transparency. We'll provide as much information about the property, the market, the environment, the future, the tenants within the property. Again, we'll be focusing really on AB tenants within top cities, so that we can ensure that we've got that occupancy within the properties, and our assets are paying that passive income to our investors.
Okay,
So,
very
in answer to the question, yeah, they will be. I think that we're looking at probably rates higher than that. Our target would probably be around 6% APY. I mean, that's similar. And that's going to be after obviously all the costs and management and insurance is taken out. And obviously, you need to factor in the increase in the asset value.
Gotcha. So people might expect kind of a similar return to traditional real estate, but then we don't totally know what the token's going to do, right? And so then it may be higher, maybe lower, depending on how that works out.
Yeah, but obviously it's going to be because it's going to be based on the fiat that's received in. And the benefit of what we're doing is by using it to buy the fiat, we're creating that constant upward buy pressure on the token. And we've got a whole other use of, as I said, the token really is the lifeblood of the whole EstateX ecosystem. So it's used in so many aspects, and there's so much utility to it that the price we believe will be quite stable and on an upward trajectory.
Okay, very good. So when maybe we could talk a little bit about the token. So like when the rent comes in and things like that, does that go back into buying token, or where does that money go to exactly?
Okay,
Absolutely.
so in the system, we've got two tokens. We've got the ESX token, which is the payment and utility token. And that's what's currently available in the pre-sale for people to buy. And this is the lifeblood of the EstateX ecosystem. On the other hand, what we have is then the PropX security token. So what this is what represents your ownership of the property. So if we had a property that was, say, for $100,000, wishful thinking, but and then we would break that up into 1,000 chunks of $100 for people then to be able to buy and to invest in. And each of those $100 chunks would be a PropX token. So that then represents your ownership of the property. So one of those chunks is 1,000th of the property, and that entitles you to a 1,000th of the revenue and obviously of the price increase. So let's say that you had 10% of the shares there. So you had 10,000 PropX tokens of a property. Once the rent came in, you'd be entitled then to 10% of that rent to pay for, you'd receive 10% of that rent or the profit that comes from the rent. And so that would be dispersed automatically to all of the PropX holders, as we said, on a daily basis. So that's really great. So literally from day one of buying that PropX token, you're already generating that revenue and that passive income.
Okay, nope. I think that helps with that question. And the questions are poured in. I don't know how long we're going to be able to go here, but we got like 20 questions lined up right here.
We have some time, James.
Okay.
We're good.
All right, all right. Let's do it then. Okay, so who owns the actual deed?
So what might be a good idea is to explain how the process works with regards to the property. So we're not actually tokenizing the property. We're creating an SPV, so a special purpose vehicle that is used to specifically then own the property. And so this company, this SPV, owns the property, and it's the SPV that we're tokenizing, and that people then own a share of that company. And so as they own the share of the company, that owns the share of the real estate asset. And that is what enables us to be able to trade the assets so easily between each other without having to exchange official title deeds and things like that, getting lawyers involved, surveyors, and all the other fun costs that are typically involved when you traditionally are buying and selling real estate.
What's also oh, sorry, when you go on.
Yeah, ultimately, as I said, the PropX token holders are the owners of the company that owns the deed.
Okay,
And
I think that makes sense. You want to add to that?
Yeah, I want to add to that. Yeah. So what's also very important on every time you buy or sell real estate, there is a transfer tax involved. The thing is, the transfer tax disappears when the SVP takes ownership of the asset. So there's just a one-time transfer tax, and that's the transfer tax to the SVP. After that, you're not really trading the actual asset itself. You're trading the shares of the SVP, effectively handing over the ownership of the actual property, which is classified in a different way and therefore not subjected to any transfer tax. So everybody who is buying and selling on the secondary marketplace doesn't need to pay any tax whatsoever on their real estate investments, which is something in the traditional markets you're not going to get. So it's just an extra added bonus here.
And also the great thing about this legal structure and about tokenization in general is that the transfer of ownership is just so easily now. And also you can invest with a lot of people into one building, which previously not possible because you need one owner. And basically what tokenization does is the transfer of ownership normally takes a long time. You have to sell the property in its entirety. It could take several months, paperwork, legal cost, notary cost. But with tokenization and the tokenize of the shares of the SPV, you can just basically transfer ownership within seconds. It's just basically we have the platform that enables the transfer of ownership so quickly. So if you have real estate now, you're able to transfer it to your neighbor within a couple of seconds without any long hassle, without negotiations, without paperwork, without notaries involved. That is quite useful.
Yes, that's super powerful. I mean, that might be the most powerful part of what you're doing here. And I'm sorry about my internet too. We have a little bit of a storm. I think it's either that or my kids. But I turned my quality down to 480p. This is bringing me back to the good old days before HD. But if I drop out, you guys just keep talking. Okay, they're here to hear you. I don't. You guys are the experts. Depreciation, something that people have been asking a little bit about. In traditional real estate, depreciation is kind of one of the main things that investors are looking for. Does anyone get to gather that depreciation when you do it this way?
It depends within what regards you mean depreciation. Obviously, in the depreciation in the value of the property, I hope obviously property is an investment. Obviously, at the moment, we're going through a bit of a blip across the whole world. But even then, through times of inflation, property has always and traditionally been that safe bet. Yes, it's going to go down, but again, one of the benefits, I was speaking about this before, similar to various other securities. If you think, for example, you've got $1,000 investment and it's paying you back an 8% APY. So that $1,000 is worth with the 8%, you're getting back $80 each year. Let's say that the value of that goes down, and then say it's worth now 20% less and it's $800. That's still going to be attractive to someone to buy off you because obviously suddenly now the APY on that is 10% because you're getting $80 back on $800 investment. So there's going to be a market as the property prices go down and it's depreciating as other people will want to take that opportunity to buy. As a community and as a business, it's also very beneficial for us because even in times of recession and downward pressure on property prices, we're able to, in essence, snap up bargains. We're able to utilize the power of the community, the combined funds. So it's not one person trying to raise 500,000 to get a property. It's we've got 50,000 people just giving in $100, and we're able to do the same thing. So there's this opportunity for us to really build that portfolio quickly using the power of our community and the crowd to snap up these bargains, because this isn't a short-term investment. The real estate isn't. It's a long-term thing that's going to bring you back that return. So again, as that depreciation in the property price happens, we're going to have great value opportunities.
Okay, yeah. And so here in the US, when you're investing in real estate, there's tax advantage. Like you can take the depreciation of the property, you can take that all up front. So investing in real estate becomes a really good tax haven here in the States. I don't know how it works in Europe. I have no idea. But are there tax benefits to getting into real estate this way, similar to regular real estate? Or if you go this direction, you're kind of missing out on the tax benefits?
I think it's
Oh,
sorry.
sorry,
Go ahead. Yeah, I think it's mainly the reason what we just described. So there's no transfer tax involved in the transfer of ownership of these digital assets, as well as like that's the main benefit. And another thing, if you are a U.S. resident, you are subjected to U.S. laws and regulations, and if they have an exemption or you can really subtract it from your tax bill. That will probably still be the case in the US, as everybody. Okay, so imagine you're from the US and you can invest into real estate via EstateX, and someone else in, let's say, South Africa can do the same. But really, we just provide the platform. We will have an easy automated tax report you can download with all your transactions, all your capital gains, etc., etc. But you are still in the end liable for your own taxes and your own laws and regulations. So this would differ per jurisdiction. And if this is the case in the US, I didn't know. You might be able to take this off your tax bill.
Okay. Yeah, and don't take tax advice from YouTube. Okay, go talk to a CPA. I am not liable if you get tax problems because of something that you heard here. If you're doing rental, who provides the management services for those rental properties?
Oh, you're on mute, Ronnie?
You're muted.
I'm mute.
So, yeah. So depending again on the where the property has come from. So, for example, if we're working with family offices, hedge funds that have large commercial portfolios, that management is built in and will be done by typically the hedge funds and an asset management company. As we bring in our own properties and we launch them within the community, or the community funds the purchase of these properties, we will be looking with asset management partners to run the facilities, to ensure the maintenance and the upkeep of the buildings.
Okay, nope, I think that helps. And then can you please ask, what do you own properties right now? And if you do, what's the leveraged amount? Or if you don't now, what's the leverage? How much leverage are you planning to use when you start doing that?
So, as I said, we don't own any properties now. So our strategy now, our focus through the inquiries we've had and the relationships we've built, is actually not to be purchasing the properties ourselves, but to be bringing in third-party property portfolio owners' properties that we can tokenize and then offer those to the community.
Okay, nope, I think that makes a lot of sense. And maybe before we get to too many more questions, because I don't want to run out of time, but maybe we should talk about what you're actually wanting people to do, how people can actually get involved, and then we'll go back to QA after that. So if people see this and they're like, oh yeah, I definitely want in on this, what is available for people now and what's going to be available in the future?
Make sure I'm not on mute. So yeah, so basically we have our final public pre-sale round coming up. It's going to be on Monday, the 5th of November. At 7 p.m. UTC. So that's Monday, the 5th of November at 7 p.m. UTC. You can go to the web.
December. You said no.
Oh, sorry, yeah, December, obviously, yeah. So Monday the 5th of December, 7 p.m. UTC. So if you go to the website, you can click join the whitelist. It's a very, very simple form. And then after that, you'll get taken on the directions to KYC. You know, we're a very secure project. Everything is above board. So the KYC is important. You know, we're beyond a crypto project. And we also have a community. If you go to Telegram, that's EstateX Official. So at EstateX Official. Join the family. We have amazing moderators. You know, shout out to Marty, to Victor, to Bishop, to the rest of the moderator crew. They have our back. They hold it down for us 24/7, and the community love them. So you can literally ask us anything. We're not one of those crypto communities where if you come and ask a newbie question, you get shamed, or you know what I mean. Like literally, no matter what your skill set, no matter how new you are or old you are, whatever the situation is, ask whatever question. We're here, and you know, if the moderators are there, and obviously the family members are there. So you know, it's a great community. Everyone's making friends in the community, which is great to see. So we want people to join the Telegram at EstateX Official. We want people to go to the website www.estatex.eu and to join the whitelist. And like we said before, we've had 3 pre-sales. They've all sold out within minutes. We're expecting this one to be the same. We had an early access round for some of our VIP members and some of our main community members and our NFT holders. And we don't want to disclose the numbers until after the main pre-sale, but let's just say it went pretty well. The allocation that we had, we went over that allocation, and we still have a small allocation left for the general public. So we are expecting this one to sell out in record time. So if you are interested at this moment, go over to the Telegram, go over to the website, whitelist, and then follow the steps. Ask us any questions. We'll be in the Telegram after. Myself, Bart, Thomas, Ronnie, we're very active. And yeah, join the EstateX family. And it's 7 p.m. the 5th of December, this coming Monday.
Okay. Yep. And I put a link to the Telegram.
Yes,
Yeah,
7
go ahead,
p.m.
Tom.
UTC.
Yes, 7 p.m.
7 p.m.
UTC. Just got to get there, right? Yeah.
Steve, maybe it's a good thing we talk about the bonuses you get on your purchase, as well as the NFTs you get with your purchase.
Yeah, sure. Because we always, as we said before, we always like to give back to our loyal audience. And we're all about nurturing the existing community. It's not just about growing the community for us. Yes, on one hand, we want to grow, but the other hand, we want to nurture. We find that 90% of projects, not even projects, businesses in the world, just focus on new customers, and they don't care about the existing customers that are there. For us, if we nurture our existing customers, they become our champions, and we want to make sure that they are correctly incentivized. So we have a bonus reward system. So if you purchase a certain amount of ESX tokens, you get a certain instant bonus. So if you purchase $1,000 of tokens, you get a 5% bonus, $5,000, 10% bonus, going all the way up to $50,000, a 25% instant bonus that you get. And not only that, we're actually giving away NFTs as well. Amazing, innovative skyscraper characters with a twist as well. And this has never been done with an NFT project before, where the actual NFTs can actually interact with each other. So if you buy, you get a character which could be like looking like the Burj Khalifa on there, like Burt Mafia, as you can see. You would actually get, you're going to get a digital representation of the Burj Khalifa building in Dubai. And basically, you build your own skyline. So every NFT that more the NFTs you build, you can actually have a display that you can actually build your own skyline, which you can like show off on social media. But most importantly, you have extra utilities. The bigger your skyline, the higher your status, from bronze to silver up to gold. And we have some amazing utilities. So each NFT has its own utilities. And also, actually, if you build your skyline, the utilities combine and you actually unlock even newer utilities as well. So we're adding that gamification aspect to it, rewarding people for actually investing in more into ESX. One of the great new utilities that we're actually very proud to say is passive income with the actual NFT. So there's going to be a certain amount of ESX tokens attached to each NFT that you can actually automatically stake. You're not going to be able to do anything else with those tokens apart from stake or not stake. If you decide to stake those tokens, you're going to get a certain API per year. We'll be finalizing, but we're looking between 10 to 20% API per year. And obviously, that's going to be paid out monthly as well. So now, not only are these NFTs that you get as a nice bonus for purchasing ESX. And the more you purchase, the more rare the NFT is. Even the most common NFT is only like a 1 of 250, and the most rare is like a 1 of 3. So all of them are extremely rare, and all of them are technically 1 of 1, because each NFT, even the 1 of 250, they're all different in their own way. They might have a different hat or different smile or different phrase type of thing. So we're expecting these NFTs to have a huge value just because of the limited nature, and we're only going to be giving certain assets away and certain utilities away with season 1. So this is the last and only season where you can get, like, for example, the passive income utility. And again, that's something that's rarely done, or what we haven't never seen be done before. The fact that we're actually turning an NFT into a profitable asset where you can actually make a monthly income from your NFT, which is truly unique. And as we said before, you can build your own skyline and actually unlock more utilities as well.
Okay, very cool. So yeah, those are the ways to get involved. And again, I like to start with the free ones because there's no reason for people to not do the free ones. The free ones are hit like on this video, join the Telegram group, and I put the link down below, where there's no way we're going to get to all these questions because we still have like 20, we're up to like 25 now, and we're not going to get to all of them. So hop in the Telegram. If we don't get to your questions, hop in the Telegram. Make sure you get all your questions. I'm sure the community there would love to discuss all these things. And they're probably, they're all real estate nerds, I'm sure, and they love to talk about all these different real estate things that maybe not the general public prefers. And then, be ready for the tokens, the pre-sale on December 5th, 2022, at 5 p.m. UTC.
7 p.m. UTC. Yes.
7 p.m.
So
UTC.
that's next Monday, 7 p.m. UTC.
Okay.
And we also, one other thing as well, we also have a great referral scheme as well. So when you go into the Telegram, if you make a friend in there, ask to use their referral code, because you will also get a 3% instant bonus with your tokens if you use one of the other community members' referral codes. And it's a great testament to the project that I think about 40% of our community members actually come through referrals as well. So the word of mouth value is extremely strong on the project.
Okay, gotcha. Well, let's try to knock out some of these questions. We can go for maybe 10 minutes, see how many we can get through. And I'll try to pick ones that were asked several times. What if you want to bring a property to you to be tokenized? Like, can you do your home or something like that?
Yes, that is possible. Basically, you have to be an ESX token holder. That's a requirement that we ask. And basically, it's not a guarantee, because I have to say we get a lot of interest from third parties, and not only from individuals, but a lot of interest from big portfolios, big real estate companies, hedge funds to tokenize their real estate portfolios. There's a lot of interest in tokenization and the benefits that tokenization brings, that we mentioned earlier. But basically, the thing is just, if you want to deliver a property that can be put into the ecosystem, obviously it has to go through a list of requirements, so a checklist, and it has to check the boxes to be able to be offered to our valued community and valued investors, because obviously we only want the best results and the best investment opportunities for our community.
However, that won't prevent us from actually being able, like the first service that we offer, even as a standalone service, is tokenization as a service. So even if it's not accepted into the ecosystem for us to fundraise and within the secondary market of EstateX, we can still provide them with a platform where they can fractionalize the ownership and they can have their own private distribution of those tokens themselves, to say a small intimate group of 4 friends or 10 partners within a group. So still, yes, the question is, we can fractionalize your existing primary home. It will come through the tokenization as a service element of our solutions. But whether we bring it into the portfolio and offer it to the community and have it within that, as Bart said, we've got a checklist that needs to go through. It needs to be approved, and moving forwards, this will then be regulated by the DAO.
Okay.
And also, I'm sorry, James, to interrupt you, but to build on that really quick on the tokenization as a service, is actually what we do with tokenization as a service is we provide for you the full legal aspect of putting your home, the ownership, into an SPV, tokenize that, put it on the blockchain, make their tokens of it, deliver you a full functional platform, and your own private trading environment where you can manage all the tokens, transfer the ownership, transfer the property management, the rental income, and all the legal aspects that we do. So it's a really great service, and that brings the earlier discussed benefits as being able to transfer the ownership real quickly, to sell a fraction of the property. So you don't have to sell the property in its entirety, but you can, for example, I don't know, to renovate your building to create a higher ROI, you could just sell 10 or 20% and raise the funds for that. So there's a lot of benefits with tokenization as a service.
Okay. Yeah. And actually, I want to ask about that because somebody was asking what would be the incentive to bring my rental portfolio to you? So why would someone want to do that? You kind of just talked a little bit about.
Sure. Well, there's a whole host of reasons someone may want to do it. Again, one of the key drivers we see as well is the instant and permissionless loans that we're going to be able to offer. So similar to a mortgage, however, without the arduous application process and all of the credit checks and everything that comes with it. So when you own the PropX token, as that's backed against the real world asset, you're able to generate an instant and permissionless loan up to 70% of the underlying value of that asset. So again, that can be done instantly, and you literally creating that liquidity out of your investment. It gives you the ability to release cash flow as and when you need, if not through the instant loan, then by selling a portion of your portfolio that you can then invest in other properties or other opportunities that might get you a higher yield. Again, the ownership, you're recording it, it's I can't say the word, it's recorded on the blockchain and it's there and it's secure. So there's less risk of obviously fraud and people taking abuse and really using that property in ways they shouldn't do. Again, the transfer of ownership, it's now you don't have to have such it now becomes ultimately a trading commodity. You're able then to sell part of your portfolio and then invest it in maybe a portfolio with a higher return. So again, it's that flexibility, it's that ease of use, it's the transparency, and it's the saving time and saving costs.
And one quick thing I'd like to add about the instant loan thing as well is that we're actually going to be doing, one of the other things that makes us unique is we're going to be doing an education program, because a lot of people see the word loan and so on and so forth, and it's like they attach that to debt. And we want to actually be empowering people with the financial literacy. It's the same thing around the world, really. Like the education system, it's more indoctrination than it is education. And what I mean by this is obviously the education system is great for certain things, but ultimately it will teach you how to be an employee. It won't teach you how to be your own boss. It won't teach you. Most people leave school without understanding the difference between an asset and a liability. They don't know the importance of passive income, how to invest, about their credit rating, so on and so forth. So as you guys know, the multimillionaires, they don't use their own money to buy their property portfolio. They use the bank's money, and it's obviously good debt. So when we have the instant loans, it's actually showing you how you can use good debt, just like the multimillionaires, to actually purchase an asset and actually, have a lower interest rate and obviously a better return on the asset, and obviously use that and obviously double, triple your portfolio. So we're going to be educating people to have that knowledge like the multimillionaires do. And obviously now you have the EstateX platform to give you that access to be able to get in at the entry price and actually be able to slowly and steadily build up your property portfolio. So the education system is going to be truly unique and something that we're going to be rolling out worldwide.
Okay, I love that part. Ian says Steve and I are as one on this. Well said, Steve. So yeah, education would be a super valuable part of this, I think.
Yeah.
Do you ever have to worry about liquidation, like if the price of the token's going down or anything like that? Liquidation is a scary word in crypto. So anytime we're talking about leverage of any kind or loans, you want to talk about that a little bit?
Yeah, so the loans are going to be based on the fiat value of the property. So rather than it being fixed to the volatility of the token, it's against the it's going to be against the fiat value. With regards to margin call, again, not really, unless someone has taken out a loan and they're unable to pay that loan back, then we will reclaim the asset. But otherwise, as I said, if it falls in value, then yeah, as I said, that's why we've put in that that barrier of 30%. So again, there is that space so that the financer who's providing the loan has that security that it's not going to go below that. If it does, I mean, and there is a loan on it, again, that's something that we'll need to, yeah, it's something it may bring a margin call.
Yep. Okay. So, I mean, similar to if you're working with a bank, right?
Exactly.
Matthias would like to know, can you explain the difference between the two tokens again? Do you want to just maybe talk through that a little bit more about the difference between the two tokens?
Sure. So if you start with the PropX token, so the PropX token is the security token, and that represents your ownership of the physical asset. So as we said, that's so for each property, they're going to be broken up into a specific number of PropX tokens, and everyone who owns those PropX tokens, in essence, owns a share of that property and the rights that come with it. With regards to the increase in the asset value and the rental income that comes in. Again, it's the PropX token that, because it's based on the collateral of the property, it's that you're able to use as a security for the instant loans. So you're leveraging that 70% of the underlying value for those loans. Within the PropX, because those are specific for a property, there's going to be a mini DAO. So they will help to determine the life of that property, the direction, making sure that it's, well, the bills, the maintenance and things, everyone is happy with that, and they can make decisions on who to choose and where to go and make sure it's all as they wish. The EstateX token, on the other hand, that's very much our payment token. It's the currency, it's the lifeblood of the ecosystem, it's what facilitates the transactions and makes everything go round. It's, as I said, it's the EstateX token that we're providing in the pre-sale, and it's the EstateX token that will get listed on the exchanges. One of the really exciting things that we've got with the EstateX token is actually, and we haven't talked about this surprisingly, EstateX is a EstateX Pay. So this is where we're creating a DeFi off-ramp. So we'll be offering physical and digital cards, so payment cards like by Visa or MasterCard, you can have in your wallet, and you can then go and use them as you would with any other card to pay for your everyday goods and services. And what that will do is, at that point of purchase, it will convert your EstateX tokens into fiat. So then you can literally be paying for your everyday goods and services with your real estate portfolio. What we're also doing and building into that is, if you don't have sufficient EstateX tokens within your wallet at that time, you'll be able to trigger an auto overdraft facility. And so then this would instigate the instant loan feature on your PropX token. So it will release additional liquidity for you to be able to complete your purchase in fiat. So that's, again, one of the great benefits that's enabled through the EstateX token. It's also the EstateX token that enables us to pay the rent out daily to all of the PropX token holders, so they've got that passive income they're generating from day one.
Yeah, so with the EstateX and the daily rental combined, that's just truly revolutionary, you know. So to be able to pay for your groceries with your property rental income, to be able to pay for your gas, even just like your electric and your utility bills. So not only are you making money through EstateX in various different ways, as the guys have explained, but also as well, it's just really helping fuel your lifestyle and obviously make things a lot more convenient from a cash flow point of view as well. So the EstateX Pay card we're extremely excited about.
Okay. Awesome. No, that'd be super exciting to have that card. Is that card, do you know time frame on that? Again, we're not going to hold you to it, but just kind of wanting to know ballpark.
Yeah, no, so we've found the provider for that. So we're just finalizing everything. We've got to go through various licensing and whatnot, but we're hoping to launch it very soon after our token generation event. So we're probably early to mid Q2 of next year.
Okay.
But again, don't hold us to that.
Yes, right.
I believe that lines up with the roadmap.
Right. No, I appreciate when people give dates, like, or at least months or something, but then I never hold people to them because I would rather people just here's my best estimate and be wrong rather than just say, we have no idea. So I appreciate that a lot. If I have a majority of tokens for a specific property, can I live in that property?
Well, there would be an agreement, obviously, of some sort of rental agreement. So if that comes available and the property is available, obviously the DAO can make that decision. And if they're happy with them as a tenant and the rent that they'll be paying, then yes.
Okay.
Yeah, but owning the tokens, owning the majority of tokens will not make you rent exempt. Nice try.
Yes. Yeah. Nice
Yeah.
try, Ken. Nice try, Ken. In what countries and areas of the countries will you be acquiring properties? And I found this in your pitch deck. I assume that this is kind of the plan.
Yeah. So phase one is obviously conquering our home territory, Europe and the UK. It's where we're familiar. It's where where we're getting our first set of license. So we're currently getting licensed, so we can operate fully legally. Because obviously, the PropX tokens are securities that we're trading. So we've set up a headquarters in Luxembourg, and we're filing all the papers and necessary stuff with the CSSF there, who's the financial regulator. The beauty with Europe is it gives us that cross-European passport. So we're able now to operate across Europe with issue under that one the one license set that we've got. So we're aiming to start within the UK, but then obviously because of the strategy we have, we're able to scale that and grow very quickly across the world. Because it is third parties that will be bringing us their properties to tokenize. We've already got interest from people with thousands of properties in. I mean, I know Thomas, you've been speaking with a lot of people who are throwing properties at us, and it's like, hold on, just wait till we get there.
Yeah, it really is crazy the amount of properties that has been offered to us. It's we have so far, and we haven't even launched yet. We're still in pre-sale phases, but the amount of inquiries we've had is truly astonishing. So far, I've never counted all the numbers together, but it's already over $500 million of real estate that we can just start offering tomorrow, practically. So really getting interesting real estate on the platform. I don't think it's gonna be an issue.
And it's not only about the dollar amount; it's also about the unique buildings and the unique developments that we get offered, backed by. But yeah, I don't know if I should say it, but backed by governments, backed by a lot of big hedge funds, really, really famous buildings that get offered. They're interested in the tokenization, so it's really exclusive. I mean, really exclusive, great properties, really great offerings. It's just really unique buildings, classy buildings that are offered. So it's not only about the dollar amount, but it's also about the unique and the historical buildings that we get offered. It's truly amazing.
Yeah, exactly. So basically, the plan is world domination. You know, we're going to do it in phases, as the guys were saying. You know, we're starting in UK, Europe, going to America, and then Africa, Asia. So, you know, within a year or two, we plan to be all over the world.
Okay, I don't see. How come no plans for Greenland? I don't see any plans up there.
Yeah. Well, and I'll explain that, because one of the key reasons, or as I said, the areas that we're looking for, we've got a responsibility to our investors. We need to ensure that where we do invest in areas where there is demand. So we're looking at like AB cities with top tenants, so that we can ensure that there is that generated revenue for our investors. This is going to be like capital cities, number two cities, state capitals, the likes. Because we need that size, we need to be able to ensure that people are able to, well, invest safely. So in this instance, Greenland doesn't really cut that, at least in the first phase. China, again, I mean, obviously their property market at the moment is just, you want to stay as far away as you can. And that's not even starting with all the regulations and rules and chaos that there would be with dealing with China. So again, that's not a priority for us. It's why make things more difficult for us than they already are. It's we've got a solid plan. The market is big enough. I mean, the global market is what, $300 trillion of just of real estate. So it's a big pond to swim in.
Yeah, exactly. Our main thing is just to make sure that our investors have the best options to get the ROI, you know. So and we have the specialists and the strategists to make sure that the pool that we choose from is going to be, you know, really the best chance to get the ROI. And that's what it's all about. We don't want to be doing anything and everything. We want everything to be strategic. So even though they're going to have a great choice from a lot of places from around the world, there's still going to be great professional choices that property specialists would go for. And as we all know, the property market is one of the oldest, the most safest, the most common things that people want to go to invest with. So we definitely want to make sure we stay safe and secure and always focus on ROI for our investors.
Okay, nope, makes a lot of sense. And since you talked about like China, what's happening with their housing market, you know, kind of this big collapse. Are you worried about that becoming a global thing where just real estate kind of crashes? Or I guess what's your thought on the market in general?
Yeah, I mean, it's a very interesting time at the moment. Obviously, with everything that's happening, the financial markets, the housing markets, interest rates across the world, it is very unpredictable. We do like to believe that our solution provides an element of recession proofness to it. The fact that obviously we, as I mentioned before, we have the power of the crowd that's able to buy properties at distressed prices, using that multiple, using the number of people that we have, but also where someone who maybe is in an unfortunate situation and maybe they've been made redundant, they've lost their job within the recession, rather than them out on the streets on their own having to sell their house at a distressed cost, there's an opportunity then to potentially tokenize their property and to sell a portion of it to release that cash flow, to loosen that rope around their neck so they can survive and they don't have to leave their house. And then as things get better, they can look to then repurchase that back. Um, so, so yeah, and again, the key thing, as we said, is location, location, location. It's making sure we get the right properties in the right places, in the right conditions, and that's fundamental to us bringing any properties in.
And also, as well, just one more thing to add to the risk. Ronnie, do you want to briefly talk about the insurance wrap?
Yeah, so one of the things that we're looking to put in place as well is a rental insurance wrap. So this would be factored into obviously the costs of running the real estate investment. But what it does is it gives that security. So in the unlikely event that there is unoccupancy within the property for a period amount of time, that insurance wrap will kick in, and it will ensure that we get at least most of the rent paid that month through the insurance, rather than it being empty and the investor not getting anything.
Yeah. So a lot of the things what we want to do overall is all about the investor and reducing the amount of risk as much as possible. And as we said as well, and as a lot of the wealthy can attest to, in times of great crisis comes great opportunities as well. So there's always going to be positives that we can make from negatives.
Yep, absolutely. And someone along with that is, can you be kicked out of your home if you tokenize the majority and sell it?
Ultimately, it'd be as if you tokenize the majority and sold it, you'll be under a rental agreement. So you'll be under the protections of that rental agreement. And again, so as long as you stay within the limits of that, then it's the same as any other situation. If you were to be in a rented house and you don't pay your rent, then yes, you can get kicked out.
Okay, gotcha. We'll take just a couple more and then we'll go ahead and wrap up. I feel like we've gotten, and again, if you have like very specific real estate tax questions and things like that, you can ask in Telegram, but you'll want to work with a CPA too and figure that out. I don't feel qualified to answer a lot of these questions. But any interest in metaverse properties? Or are you sticking with real things? Well, not that the metaverse isn't real. It's just a different kind of real.
Yeah, no, definitely. We've with GDA Capital, they're one of the biggest land, and obviously we're partners with GDA Capital. They're one of the biggest landowners in Decentraland, and they have access to most main contacts in the metaverse, the sandbox, and so on and so forth. So there already talks about introducing us to the metaverses because, as you know, the metaverse land and properties are going through the roof now as well. And there's obviously options for us to be able to come in and tokenize certain things. So people can buy a fraction of a metaverse land, or people can buy a fraction of a metaverse property. And it's not just going to stop there. As we move forward, there's going to be various different verticals from around the world that we will fractionalize. For example, football teams or soccer teams, you can own a fraction of a team, you know what I mean? So there's lots of different things where the EstateX property and real estate is going to be the foundation and the flagship, but we have massive worldwide global expansion plans about how we can really maximize our fractionalization, amazing innovative technology. So watch this space, but definitely the metaverse is coming very soon. And even just with the whole NFT collectors build your own skyline concept, that's going to be slightly linked to a metaverse display unit as well. So we're already there.
Okay, very cool. Well, I think I'm going to wrap it up there. So yeah, again, audience, thank you guys so much for just your involvement, for all the great questions. Again, it makes my job so easy when you guys have great questions. I really have nothing that I need to do except for just keep my internet working is really the core of my responsibility. So thank you guys for that. And then thank you, Ronnie, Steve, Thomas, and Bart. Thanks for coming on, talking through this. I think it's exciting. I think it's something that could move. I'm hoping to move the space forward because we still are kind of waiting for crypto and NFTs to actually do something that affects the real world in some way.
Yeah,
and I think tokenized real estate could be one of those things, particularly. So just thanks for building this and helping the space, and thanks for presenting it to us.
Thank you. I mean, that's our main plan. If you go out to the street and you ask 100 people, do you invest in crypto? And 98% of people would say no. But if you ask those people, would you like to buy a property or own a property? 99% of those people would say yes. So we are truly aiming for EstateX to be the first project where a lot of newbies are going to come through and obviously have their first introduction to blockchain and crypto, because it's non-threatening, it's property, and it's something that they like. And coupled with the education system, we really want to have that 98% of people that aren't interested in crypto to be 40, 50, 30, 10%, so we really want to be a part of that future. So thank you for recognizing that, because that's very important to us.
Yeah, I love that. That's one of the goals of my channel, is to help bring normal people, because crypto people aren't normal people, but bringing normal people into crypto and bringing them into our world. So I think this could be a part of that. So,
agreed.
Well, thanks everyone. And I'll close with just these words: "Go USA" on Saturday. I'll close with that.
You're not gonna make
Thank
it.
you guys so much.
Tell you, but
yeah, we'll see. Hey, to be fair, you guys have won a lot of things in the world. I mean, you guys won the World Cup not too long ago. We don't get anything when it comes to soccer, so maybe it's time for US to take over.
I'll be honest. They're playing pretty well. I've seen a few games. They're doing good.
Yeah, we'll see how it goes.
I'll keep it real. You got no strikers. You know what I mean? You got no strikers.
We've never had any strikers. That's always been our problem.
Yeah. So I think 1 or 2 more World Cups, I think you'll dominate. I think you've got to start as a really, really young age. In America, everyone's playing all of these different sports. In Europe, everybody just plays football as a kid. You know what I mean? So we have that big advantage. But it's getting bigger in America. So 1 or 2 World Cups, I think you guys could be up there. But it's going to be an interesting game on Saturday. So we'll see.
We'll see. So I hope you're right. So, all right. Well, hey, everybody, this was a lot of fun, very informative. I feel like I learned a lot. So thanks, everybody, and hope you all have a great rest of your day. Thank you.
Amazing. Thank you, Jay.